What's up, everybody? This is James Williams with Between the Lines Sports, and welcome to another edition of Water Cooler Talk. Today, we're going to talk over 4 key points that's going around the world of basketball right now. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so bear with me. If you go back to my last water cooler video, you'll see I was clean shaven and didn't have hair on my head, and things have changed a little bit. It is no shave November, but I think I may keep this a little bit longer. I'm liking the way it looks, so I may keep it a little longer. But our first topic today is Michael Porter Jr. and his status for the 2018 NBA draft. Michael was projected to be a top 3 draft pick in this upcoming draft, and he was rated the second rated freshman in the class of 2018. Michael suffered a season-ending back injury. Started off with a leg, then it moved up to his hip, and I guess they finally pinpointed the issue, which was a back. And that could be anything. It happens a lot of times. The guys work themselves out really hard. You get some tightness in your back, and it starts to pull on other muscles. I know this because I was an exercise and health science major in college for 2 years before I thought better and decided to go to sports management. A lot of people, even last night, Jay Williams on the college basketball show on the network, discussed that he didn't think that Michael should come back and play. I agree. Seth Greenberg also agreed that he should probably focus on getting healthy and getting in the best shape of his life. They also talked about, I wasn't on the show, not yet, but they also discussed a little bit about why some of these guys even come to college at all, because the rule is your graduating class has to be 1 year removed from high school before you can enter the draft. So these guys don't necessarily have to go to college in order to get prepared for the draft. But the point is, I guess the whole point of the topic is, where does Michael fall? For me, Michael, I thought, was the one transcending, culture-changing player in the draft. He was that guy that, he fits today's NBA, the long, athletic wing that can handle, pass. He has good form, so his shot definitely is going to come. And right now, so if he does enter the draft in 2018, does he fall out of that top 3 prospect position? And if so, how far? And that could be a gift and a curse for the team that picks him, and teams that pass on him. I guess I would love for you guys to give me some feedback on what you guys think. What he should do. I think he comes out. I think he gets drafted still in the top 5 because I think he's that good of a player, and his attributes are going to automatically translate over to the NBA. Or you start a process similar to what the Philadelphia 76ers have done with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. You may redshirt him a year. You draft him high and early. You sit him out a year to get healthy, fully healthy, and then you bring him back the following year and let him loose on the league. Those are just my thoughts on it. The next topic we're going to discuss is the Boston Celtics and this amazing. I think they're at 16 games right now, 16-game win streak. They lost their first 2 games. I think they were just trying to get their, with Gordon going out the first game, I think they were just out of sorts a little bit for the first 2 games. And from there, they have been on an amazing ride and streak, to say the least. With so many new guys on the team, not including Kyrie, I think it was going to be difficult to gel those guys, but I think it's a good combination of young and veteran players. Kyrie is doing a great job of leading the troops, so to speak. A lot of people didn't think he could do it. I didn't think he can do it because I never saw him be very vocal before. When he was younger, he was just young and he was just playing. And when LeBron came, there was no need for him to be very vocal on the team. And so you never know what a person has inside of them, but it's great to see that he can lead these guys. And I don't know about you guys, but those two wings of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, oh my goodness. Again, new NBA, long, athletic, dribble, pass, shoot, defend kind of guys. They do everything well. Jaylen's kind of in that attack mode. He's always putting his head down, trying to get to the bucket. He's making open 3-pointers now. And Jason Tatum is a bucket getter. Plain and simple, he's a bucket getter. And we all know what Kyrie can do. You've got one of the Morris twins on over there on the bench. They just have a good group of guys who's I think their skill sets all work together to benefit the team as a whole. And right now they're the best team in the East. We all know that that doesn't really matter until the playoffs come and you have to beat the bully, and we all know the bullies the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if they can beat those guys, that's maybe they're the new team to be, along with these other new teams to be that we'll talk about too at some point. The Milwaukee's, the Philadelphia's. I mean, I think Milwaukee and Philadelphia have easily leapfrogged Toronto and Washington. I don't think either of those teams have enough firepower to compete with Boston or Cleveland right now. And I think Philly's just in a good spot to just be really good long term with Ben Simmons running the one and Joel Embiid. If he can stay healthy and on the floor, he's going to be a problem for years to come. So that's what I think about the Celtics win streak. I think it's amazing to see that Kyrie's leading the troops and they're in such a good place right now, and they're just kind of setting themselves up to be competitive and in that hunt for the number one seed and possibly making it all the way to the NBA Finals next year, or 2018 this season, but next year. Next, we're going to talk about the NBA MVP race. To me, there are four guys who I think are head and shoulders above everyone else, the cream of the crop, so to speak. And to me, those guys are Giannis, the Greek Freak, Antetokounmpo. I said that right. Antetokounmpo, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and to me, LeBron James, obviously. I will start off with Giannis. Giannis is currently averaging 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists while shooting 55% from the field. He's only shooting 26% from the three-point line. He hasn't taken many at all. He doesn't shoot jump shots. He is so long and he's so athletic that he can get to wherever he wants on the court. And even taking more difficult shots, but his length is so impressive that it allows him to still take and make easy shots. His team's winning, so that definitely helps. I think the MVP is going to go to a winning team, somebody who's winning in the hunt to compete for a championship. And I definitely think Giannis is doing that with the Milwaukee Bucks. And they still haven't gotten Jabari Parker back yet either. And I would love to see them as a 1-2 combo, because I know Chris Middleton is doing well, and there's always somebody new every night with Milwaukee. But I think once Jabari comes back and stays healthy, they would be an ideal 1-2 punch to really solidify themselves in the East. Next on my list is I've got James Harden. James is averaging 31, 5, and 10. 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists right now. And we all know what James Harden can do, what he did last year. These are pretty comparable numbers. He averaged more rebounds last year, but still really comparable numbers. And they're winning right now. He's actually leading the league in three-point makes right now. I think he's at 79 last I checked, and the second closest person was at 57, which was Steph Curry and Robert Covington from the 76ers. So he's head and shoulders above everybody else right now, making three-point jump shots. The issue for the Houston Rockets and James in particular is their defense. We all know they can score points in bunches fast. Eric Gordon's on a tear right now. He's looking, I think, from what I understand, he went over to Europe and had some knee procedure done. The same thing that Kobe had a few years back when he had his revitalization before he got old. And he's looking like a new man. So I think him definitely being there is definitely adding that punch to the team that they need. So James definitely needs another consistent score. And I think Eric provides that. But I think James is definitely in the hunt for the MVP. The issue is going to be if they can win good games, close games, tight games, and close people out in series. So my third guy is Kyrie Irving. Obviously, Kyrie is doing a great job of leading the young, new Boston Celtics. He's averaging 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. And it's not so much the numbers; it's just it's so much more of his leadership qualities that he's displaying right now, and the idea that he's willing these guys to wins. And this 16 game winning streak is definitely going to bode well for him when voters start looking at things like this, unless they go on a 15 or 16 game losing streak, which I doubt they'll do. So I definitely think this will bode well for him. And lastly on my list is, of course, LeBron James, King James, LBJ, whatever you want to call him. He's the best player in the world. I mean, honestly, the funny thing is that I just listed 3 other players that we all know aren't as good as him, don't have the impact that don't make the impact that he makes on a day-to-day basis, and he's still not the MVP every year. The same reason when Jordan was in his prime for 10 years in the NBA, he didn't win MVP every year either, or Kareem for that matter. There's always, I think, I think a lot of people in the media, I don't consider myself a person in the media, but I think people in the media a lot of times think that other people need to win to make it even and make it fair. And fair is I'm better than you, and you don't deserve anything over me because I'm better than you. I mean, that's just my logic. I understand it would get boring if he kept winning over and over again, but it would be impressive as well. So that's just my take on that. And my last topic today is going to be Collin Sexton of the University of Alabama. The freshman point guard from my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, was very impressive in a close fought win over UT Arlington at home. What I liked most about Collin was the poise that he showed and his competitive drive and spirit. Collin reminds me of a young Russell Westbrook. They both were late bloomers. Russell wasn't recruited very heavily at all, and he didn't even really play much his freshman year at UCLA. Collin probably is ahead of the game already with his motor and his energy, but Collin was a late bloomer too. And before I say that, Collin was a good player, a good high school player. He was playing on one of the elite EYBL basketball teams, but he wasn't on the radar of being a McDonald's All-American, of being a top 10 draft pick in the upcoming draft. He wasn't that guy, but he was a really good basketball player. So he was going to go to a Division I college. But was he going to be making the noise that he's making now? Probably not. And the story I heard is that he decided that he was going to focus completely 100% on basketball to make himself the best player that he could be. And he turned himself into a McDonald's All-American, a USA team member, a top 10 draft prospect for the upcoming draft, all those things. And he has a motor that most people can't match. But the thing about people who typically have motors, most people who have motors don't have skill. And most people who have skill don't have the motor. And there's always that fine line between the two. And Russell's probably the person that I've seen most recently who possesses the motor and the skill at the same time to be relentless and be good enough to win games on a regular basis, And I think Collin definitely displays that kind of those intangibles, so to speak. And last night in particular, UT Arlington was playing a great game. They got 2 pros on their team right now. I'm not sure if they're NBA pros, but they're definitely pros. They got a point guard, Neal, and they've got a big 6'9", I think his name is Harvey. They both played their butts off last night. They really did. They both played their butts off. Harvey ended up with like 24, 25 points, 9 rebounds, I believe. And Neal ended up with 16 points. And he hit 3 clutch 3-point shots towards the end of the game to kind of keep them in the game. And Collin entered the game with about 6 minutes left, and he was just so confident. He had this bop about him that he was just kind of, I don't care that we're in a close game, and that we're playing a really good veteran-led team. We're gonna win this game. He's had this nice confidence, and it was good to see, and amazing to see a young kid have that. He scored 9 points in the last 6 minutes of that game. I think I said that before, but it wasn't the points that he scored. It was the poise and the demeanor that he displayed that I think gave his team a calmness about him. I think they were a little nervous before he entered the game, and gave him a calmness. So he scored points, but what I liked the most was at the end of the game, UT Arlington's best player, or one of their best players, Neal, had the ball. Their point guard had the ball, and Collin wanted to guard him. And Collin dug in, got over screens, got in his face, tapped the ball a little bit, and made Neal take a tough shot that he missed. And that was the closing play of the game. And it was so impressive, but it was just amazing to see how dug in he was and how much he wanted to win that game. So those are my 4 talking points for the day. Guys, I really I appreciate you guys taking a look at this second edition of Water Cooler Talk with me, James Williams, Between the Lines Sports. If you like this, please subscribe down below. Click that button for me. I need to get my subscribers up, please, guys. If you watch the video, subscribe for me, please. I'm not putting out BS crap. I think I'm putting out really good quality videos, whether it's my Water Cooler Talk or my Did You See That videos. I'm also working on my first Call 'em Up video for the D League on Nigel Hayes. So that should be coming out pretty soon, along with this video. And within days of each other. So stay tuned for that. But guys, please subscribe. If you have comments or concerns, please comment down below, and I'll make sure that I follow up with you guys as well. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to take a look at this video, and be on the lookout for more videos from Between the Lines Sports. Thank you.